Well, I guess today, if you can believe the early reports, it sounds like there may have been a major breakthrough on the virus vaccine front. I know we're all waiting to hear that good news. Certainly the stock market liked that good news. So myself, I've always tended to be one of those people that sees the science part of a big challenge to be the big accomplishment. We're going to put a man on the moon in this decade, and I seen that the world gained a PC industry. But in this case, with the virus, I think I'm going to concede that as great as the scientific accomplishment is, the actual bulk of the challenge is not going to be in the science at all. I think we're about to witness the world hopefully working in a globalized way to address the single biggest pharmaceutical logistics challenge of all time. And I don't even know what the ingredients for the stream are, and I don't know what the particulars of the production line that this particular vaccine needs. But I do know this: we won't just be building these things out of thin air. That in order to act with any kind of expediency, we're going to need to work globally and pull all the viable manufacturing lines together. So that's the first logistical challenge, and that's mostly the logistics of getting various corporate leaders who in their heart they all want to own 100% of the business, so getting them to cooperate on something isn't always the easiest thing in the world. That's not true of just the pharmaceutical industry, by the way. That's true of industry in general. After that, though, once we know where those assembly lines will be, then I guess it's time for, people like UPS and Federated and other supply chain movement suppliers who claim, greatness for themselves, will now have the excellent opportunity to prove that. And behind the scenes will need to be a logistics plan for the distribution. So you'll build that plan assuming that the actual transportation networks will live up to their promise and do what you need them to do. And some of that'll end up being true, and some of it'll end up being, overpromised and underdelivered. We'll get both. But from there, you need a plan from which centers will you distribute to which areas, what priority, what order. And all along the way, there's going to be errors and mistakes, and we'll struggle through them. And, I'm sure we'll get to see big, super dramatized stories about how somebody found a box of 1,000 doses lost in the back room of a post office somewhere, and everybody will be all outraged at the irresponsibility of that. So I want to get into the mix first and say, rather than be outraged about the irresponsibility of a failed delivery of 1,000 or even 10,000 doses, be amazed if and when, I'm confident that we will succeed in this, when the world meets this logistic challenge and moves literally tens of billions of doses of vaccine into play, be amazed. Don't Don't waste everybody's time focusing on the failures that are going to come along the way. There will be failures along the way. And you don't get to blame individual politicians when a supply chain fails. Be amazed at what's been accomplished, right? Like, how long have they been trying to find vaccines for the AIDS virus? If these reports this morning from Pfizer are true, then those people deserve kudos. They don't need a bunch of people going out and finding reasons to attack them. And they're only the beginning of this. I hope everybody understands that the ability to produce a vaccine doesn't magically produce tens of millions of doses. And you've all seen the same images on the TV that I have. So you see those supply chains running. You know what that looks like. Let's say that's 1 dose per second. Maybe it's a little faster, maybe it's a little slower, but 1 dose per second makes it easy math. 1 dose per second, and we need, perhaps 180 million doses just for the United States alone. 20-ish million doses just for Canada alone. 1 a second. You got your calculators in front of you, because you're probably watching this either on a smartphone or a computer. 1 a second, work it out. I'm not going to do the arithmetic for you, because I need people to recognize that logistics is not magic, and there is no shortcuts. So great day for the world. Great day for a good portion of my investment portfolio. And we're on our way, but we're not out of the woods yet. And it's still far more important to practice COVID safety as per your local health community advisement. Of course, the next challenge we will have, and this has been a challenge that's been growing for a long time, and I don't know how you address it in a world that actually beat smallpox and beat polio through our use and understanding of vaccination. Somehow we've grown an anti-vax crowd of significant proportions. They see something up here, I'm not sure what. I can't see it. She's probably just making it up. So that'll be the next step. First we have to create the vaccine, and then we have to transport it to the proper locations, and then we have to have the right people to administer it. But then it comes down to you and me and this growing idea that vaccines can be the enemy. So, good day. Still challenges left. Just saying.